On their duty is Armando Villa. Well, first choice Barker broke an hissing goal after an injury in the final warm-up game last Monday. And his Brighton clubmate, Jan Paul van Hecker, is alongside the captain, Virgil van Dijk. First choice midfield for the Dutch, Gravenberg, De Jong and Reinders. Asensio Somerville, uncapped until this month, brings pace to the attack. Daniel Marlon through the middle and Cody Gakpo from the left. And the record goal scorer Memphis Depay, who now plays in Brazil, is fit to be on the bench. USA born Zion Suzuki has been a groundbreaker in Serie A with Parma. Three at the back with Ito. It's a great passing range. Mitsudan is the captain after this shock axing at Wataru Endo. It's a big story, this in Japan. Daisu Sano takes his place. Takufusa Kubo has the X factor in attack. Several striking options, but I see where he gets the knock. Not surprisingly, he finished top scorer with the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. And in fact, the Japanese have got two players based in the Netherlands playing their football in the Eredivisie. Holland, Netherlands, you've got none. Yeah. Amazing, really. But really looking forward to the game, Martin. Here we go. Always vital to get up to a good start. Game one, so important. Well, they have played each other once before in a World Cup in South Africa. And Wes Sneijder, who's here today, scored the winner. And of course, the Dutch went on to get to that final in 2010. Here comes the countdown. There's been a lot of attention on the pitch here with that indoor lighting just above head height spread across it for the time Andy and I have been here until today to encourage the growth and make sure that it's fit for purpose, and it's certainly starting like that. Here's Ueda. Guys and May, they're trying to take it on. And now Somerville. Could be a lot of counter-attacking in this game. Good covering by Taniguchi. Speed is of the essence, particularly throughout the Japan side, really. And Somerville has brought it handy to he has certainly extremely rapid, Messi Ronaldo. I think what we've seen, Martin, in a few of the opening matches is those teams that get around the pitch really quickly, apply pressure, force errors, are the teams that can kind of gain the initiative early on. And I think we've got two teams today expect Japan to do exactly that. I don't think they'll sit off of this Dutch team for too long. The initial moments, maybe. And then, of course, the Netherlands, when they get it forward, get it through the middle of the park up front, in Marlon, in Somerville, and in Cody Gakpo, they've got people that can hurt you. Gakpo played his 50th cap in the last, won his 50th cap in the last warm-up game against Uzbekistan. He scored both goals. It's a narrow win, 2-1. Both goals penalty spot. It's Frankie de Jong. Start on the Euros. That's got to semi-finals. It's the one tournament they have won back in 1988. Kuhlman was a player then. Here's Gakpo of Liverpool. That's coming on his right foot. De Jong. Now the swashbuckling Denzel Dumfries. Yeah, he likes to get ball. He's good at it. See again here already. Japan keeping their shape, making sure that they don't get stretched and pulled around and
invite the Netherlands to play between them.
DAPAT trying to start it. The hold up and set somebody else and set himself up.
Oh wow. Oh,
Well, he's been a bit of a stopgap central striker.
Suzuki.
Plays wide, and he's missed a lot of chances in the warm-up. I suppose you could say he missed this one, but it's a good effort.
Brilliant for Martin. He does really well, doesn't he, to gather that, to get really close. And Taniguchi actually gets a little too tight to him. He's rolling. He's going to get that shot away. It's a really good hit, and it's a good stop from Suzuki.
Well, this is going to be an issue. It's an issue in football, not just in World Cups. In high-level football, the grabbing and grappling. The lawmakers are trying to take some of that out of it. But it's an almost impossible thing to call, isn't it?
It's very difficult.
Difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Everybody's to miss that shot again from Donald Marlon. Engineered the space for himself really well, actually. Although the goalkeeper saves it, almost too quick for him. Kind of bends his fingertips back, but it just about gets behind it and does enough.
Playing Italy, Serie A, Simon Suzuki. Really taking Japanese.
Chị gặp có mày.
In terms of ability,
Má hẹn đó.
in terms of height as well.
Em mới lên. Oh.
It's a bit of style about these early minutes from the Netherlands.
Yeah, really nice. Good play again. Just a little fiery, the ball back from Donny Marlon towards Somerville, but really nice work initially. The way that Gravenberg weaved his way infield and that little give and go very nearly.
Oh, Van Hecker touches it back. But Ruben, the three Brighton players. There's another one in the squad as well. And that's Vita. It's understudy to Dumfries. It's on the ball here. He's an extraordinary character, really, because he wasn't an instant success as a young player in his own country. In fact, he's probably more appreciated, and certainly in the northwest of England generally, than he is at home, even though he's a really good game.
Gak ada mitoma ini tuh.
And a change of direction to Piala and event.
It's good feet actually, that great up. Found a hit there. A little bit clumsy, that challenge on the opposite side of the field. Not natural one for him. And he's so quick, he probably feels he can get tight and still recover, but that's a careless one and a needless one in that situation to concede.
With Canada over the ball. Canada arrived for his country, having won a trophy with his club, Crystal Palace. The local Conference League. Still chance to put some pressure on that zonally set up back line from Netherlands. The deep one, has it gone out? Flag is up to suggest he had already gone out.
Just a little too deep, that one, wasn't
It
it?
was a good idea because they overloaded well.
Correct. All the blue shirts just spun towards that far post there, but just a fraction too heavy. Good tempo to the game. Nice start to it.
And we don't have to worry too much about the temperatures because there's some air conditioning in here. The hydration break will happen because it's the tournament rule, but probably wouldn't need to. You were just looking at this as a one-off fixture. Where's Van der Sar and Wesley Sneijder? The top two appearances.
Oh,
Is that right? Yeah.
Well, top players, they certainly were.
And then comes to Frank de Boer, one of the twins, and then Memphis Depay is on the bench here today. I'm sure those two we've just seen would like to be have their boots on. It brings it nice, bring it back to you, Andy, coming through.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely to be here to witness the World Cup. They're always very special. A long build up to this one, but it's well worth the wait.
So, over the cross. Time is run well. There was no suggestion of offside, and the can come again. Nakamura. Long attempted diagonal from Canada. Right come off. What we do have in the stadium, Andy, where you look up at the time, this massive jumbotron screen.
Yeah,
I'm not using a commercial term there. Everybody will know what that means. You
certainly is.
effectively. There's Taniguchi.
I think what we've seen in the opening 8.5 minutes, no surprises that the Netherlands, look, with their back four closer to the halfway line, kind of dictating the tempo of the game. Japan, when they get it, when they turn the ball over, want to get forward really quickly. They're good at that. And so, Ronald Koeman's team have got to switch on when they go out of possession. They got to recover very quickly. If they don't, if they sleep, they'll get caught.
Big goal. Perhaps hasn't quite fulfilled the wonderful potential he showed as a very young player. Went to Barcelona, had injuries. He's here. And can maybe become the midfield maestro that it's always looked capable of being. And Hecker. Down by Doan. Studious.
Yeah.
Mentioned earlier, Snyder scored the goal in the World Cup. The only time these two teams have met in 2010. Tie game 1-0. Bit of a skimmer from Virgil van Dijk.
Doan would like to get forward now to
Yeah.
if he can, but he's having to make sure that he does a bit of a job on Cody Gakpo out there before he tracks all those runs. That the three central defenders of Japan don't want to get shifted and moved and disrupted. They want to stay quite narrow and quite tight. So those wide players have really got to work up and down.
Some Dutch players in the penalty area. That's why it's been a retake. Doesn't always happen, but it's presented straight back to the Netherlands. Anything aerially around Van Dijk in any part of the pitch, really. He's scored 12 goals for this country. And we've certainly scored more as a defender. Now, here is the man you mentioned, Doan, who was a big player for Japan in the last World Cup in Qatar. Canada. Ito. Nakamura. Another again trying to feed it in. And,
Oh, no. No.
Nearly took it away from the defender. Hecker put in an awkward situation there.
Yeah, Dumfries just ball watching for a split second. Just nearly got caught on the wrong side. The right Dynamite, always alert and lively.
It's a real sprinter. Here's Doan. Trying it in, hooked away by Van Dijk. Marlon giving token chase no more.
Itu bisa nyerang.
It's really been this kind of situation much in the game so far when Japan have put their foot on the ball at the back. Netherlands dropping into their defensive shape. He's one of the back three, but will use his passing skills. Canada. couldn't have had a shout for the dummy.
Ngapo?
So, Reinders
Nah.
can't get it through. Walk out close.
Yeah, he was just waiting for Tony Gakpo to give him the signal.
Itu bisa nyerang Belanda.
Just looked to burst forward. Fortunately, they just weren't quite on the same wavelength.
I think the Dutch FA and they've gone public saying we expect to get to the semi-finals.
That's a bold statement.
Ronald Gell was
Yeah.
Eaton. What they have done, Japan, they've always had good techniques since they
Wow.
football. And added some tenacity, some resilience.
Jepang mang bagus coy.
To beat us mentality.
Umuran Asia.
They've shown that in the months preceding the tournament. Another good run there from Maida. That's his natural tendency. That's what he likes to do. He likes to
Hui.
show for the ball
Saya
speed and
anjing
get it
sana
behind
sekolah.
defenders. And if you can provide him with the right service, as they did there, then he's always liable to make something happen.
They want to switch a plan. Sano. Dutch not able to push out very far. There's no pressure on the ball. Nakamura.
Kubo.
Already waited. And shouting for handball, I think. They release the corner. It's a goal kick.
Gak ada Mitoma jadi gak ada yang bro Belanda jelek banget anjir.
Catch that run of Maida. Clever little play down the left-hand side. The defender is always across there. Hits his big frame right in that little gap to make sure that he sees it out. In the end, he gets the goal kick too. It's good defended.
That was Taniguchi, one of the centre-backs, crossing.
Exactly, yeah. Really good ball.
There's no inferiority complex about Japanese football today. That might have been the case when they first burst upon the scene. You don't sit there as the coach did in this stadium last night in a press room and say, we have come here to win the World Cup, unless you've got a lot of belief. But, decade in, decade out, you don't find many more self-beliefs that are stronger than that of a Dutchman. Yeah, unhacker. There is a saying that you hear from the Netherlands, if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much. Here's one hacker on the show. Dutch dominance here in Dallas. Under that. There's Somerville, who actually plays a lot on the left in English football. He's just been relegated actually from the Premier League with Japan, with West Ham United.
Oh, lol. Itu bisa yun.
Good covering by Ito. The defenders are there where they're supposed to be when they need it.
Oh, they are. They certainly are. With Nakamura, it's going to, again, have to keep eyes on Somerville. When he gets the ball, he's the one coming out now to front
Nggak
him up.
bisa nyerang.
Force him backwards or across that team, job done. And that's the kind of got to be the key for him every time they look to roll it into Somerville's feet.
I think two things are going to be vital in this World Cup, apart from the obvious. It's energy, total energy. Maybe that is a bit obvious. But in these circumstances, you're away a lot as well. You've got to keep up that belief in your head physicality and also set pieces.
Yes, they're always crucial, Martin. They're becoming more prevalent everywhere. If you're good at them, it's such an asset.
Here's Somerville. Gets his cross in well. Kubo.
Gitu dong.
The players where I have trouble, he might just have done that. Go on. Gucci. So the characters have to develop wearing contact lenses. I'm sure he's not the only top footballer who does that, but he talks about it a bit. His eyesight, lack of it hurt him early in his career. Great skill deal, love that. All the World Cup lovers love the show of individual supremacy as that was, and it's led to this attack. Could possibly lead to the opening.
Oke, sok.
Stopped in his tracks.
Lucky. Just one too many there. Daniel Marlon might have got the shot away. Wanted to just take it that extra few yards further in the box.
Marlon's just finished a loan spell in Serie A from the English club Aston Villa with Roma. He scored 10 goals in his first 12 Serie A games, becoming a record only previously held as a foreign player by Gabriel Batistuta. Wow, that puts him in good company.
It certainly does.
It's the one shot so far. It actually was from Marlon. It's on the move here. It's
Ini lawan Messi mah langsung kalah.
grabbing back.
Bro, skor.
That's not happening.
Ini assist, bro. Oh, lima tuh bisa juga Messi.
That goal. Very rarely goes on the outside, but he's playing a 1-2 here that could have gone in behind. And fans wanted a foul, not the players, they just got on with it. Beyond. Somerville. Van der Ven. Lively first 20 minutes. First 20 minutes of World Cup football 2026 in Dubs.
Just watching Denzel Dumfries, number 22, is right outside of the screen now. Fullback, every time he goes, here he goes again. Wants to get in the box because he's a big, tall lad.
And coaching staff have been saying we want to improve the percentage of possession we get in big games like this. And when you trade space and just drop off like that, it's going to tick on for the team with the ball.
Just have to be a little careful sometimes. You don't become too passive, sitting off. You want to make sure that you throw a punch or two of your own when you get the ball and commit people forward. But certainly in areas like this, they're going to sit very tight. Look, no genuine pressure on the ball yet. And then they've got to try and shut that door, block those gaps.
I mentioned at the beginning that Endo being left out was told by the coach, Moriyasu, you're not going to be with us. A couple of days ago, it's a brutal, cold-blooded act. And hasn't been down well with the Japanese public back home. He's had a lot of injuries. That's the reason.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't feel he was fit enough to go through a long tournament, but I hope it's a long time for that.
As coaches, Martin, they're made to make big calls, not friends.
Yeah. Beautifully done. Go on. We've reached hydration time. Well-paced.
Hydration.
I think there's been some moments when it goes up a notch, when the speed and the intensity goes up, then we can see that both teams are capable, as you would imagine, a lot of healthy respect for each other. I think they feel that they are the two strongest teams in the group, and they don't want to perhaps. Future World Cups, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how some of the teams fare today. Yeah, it was a tough one for them up against a team with real pedigree in Germany, and I'm afraid they're on the end of a behind it, but they've got to pick themselves up. They've got other chances now to recover.
Fans of all ages here. They will remember this day for the rest of what we very hopefully long lives. Possession stat to me, and the Japan have got 35%
so far. Yeah. So, and they are a team, I think, that are comfortable, I think, in their own skin, in sitting and letting the opposition have it. They don't panic. They trust absolutely whether they go about their work. The results signify that.
You mentioned the team that beat Brazil in this season that's coming to an end back before Christmas. And then in March, they went to Glasgow and beat Scotland, who've already got a win in this World Cup. And then they went 4 days later to Wembley and beat England.
Did indeed.
Who are due here. They're next on at Dallas. And, next Wednesday. I'm not sure what time zone when you're listening it's, but for us it's Wednesday. We start with Mexico and with the throw. To work the 1-2, a bit of cleverness around the edge of the penalty area. So attempts at direct Dutch football, and never got pointed to the system Dunia where he could feel comfortable he's going to release the ball accurately.
Yeah, just couldn't get his head up, could he? He was under pressure, fighting with the ball a little bit.
Anjing ngapain sih? Endo keluar bro cedera.
Later. Canada. Made away by Van der Ven, who's built like a centre-back and often plays there, but he's got the chance in the national team relatively recently, and so that can use his pace. He has a lot of.
So Frankie, they're dropping back in as well. Just making sure that he stays with Kubo.
We haven't quite seen the calling card of Kubo as yet. The Japanese Messi was christened early in his career, partly because he grew up, had a very early move to Barcelona and went to the famous football education centre there, Messi. Ito, onto Canada, with a ring fencing going on here by Japan. By Sano and by
Good.
set up to lift the ball. Wants to get it onto his left foot. Didn't
Kalau
have it.
asa-asa.
So Ito.
Nah, ini langsung shoot tadi.
I love that. Great combination work out on the edge of the box. That's the strike with the ball sailing over from Ito, but the ball off the right side was really good. Eventually winning. Came into Maeda. Him and Nakamura combining nicely, but just couldn't get that shot away quick enough.
That's Japan's first shot, first attempt. Off target, as you saw. Under them. I'm just trying to make an angle for him. It's still uses Virgil van Dijk. That,
Not a lot of room for the Netherlands to find those players on the half turn, just outside the edge of the 18-yard box. That's good play.
There's Van der Ven. Ito gets it away. It's the kind of acceleration that can get him into those situations. Some of it. And they're getting further and further up the pitch as the last man. Dion. Gakpo. Binders. Fight set the world on fire at Manchester City. His first season with the champion. We played in the Club World Cup, actually got signed in time for City's contribution a year ago in the United States. And by Gakpo, and Priest round the back. And you spotted it earlier, Andy.
Yeah, he's always prepared to make those gambling runs, Denzel Dumfries. Bottom of the screen, look, hand up in here, just put it up there and let me attack it. He's just always struggling with that one. He could have done perhaps a little better trying to keep that back or knock it back for somebody else, but
he scored 11 goals as a defender. There's only one behind Van Dijk. Van Hecker. It's the referee. Technically has to stop it. And they give it back to Frankie de Jong. Yeah. Let's give an extra couple of seconds for Japan to reposition.
That's the best joy that the Netherlands have had so far, Martin. When they go wide to Somerville or Gakpo and they're 1v1 with their man, and they try and get beyond them, take them on, or a little give and go, get into the dead ball line and standing crosses up. It's when they're looking at their best. They're not finding a lot of room for Reinders and Co in the middle of the park. Certainly in those wide areas, when they set it up and work it, and they can get behind Japan.
Grab them back. Almost throw a blanket over all the outfield players. So far, the Dutch are getting up the pitch as a collective unit. But Japan are not blinking, no, they're not staring the opposition in the eye and saying, you come on, you leave a bit of space in behind and we'll be at you. Maybe that's on his agenda for half time. And Hecker, whose uncle, Jan Voortvliet, played in a World Cup final for the Dutch, 1978. The family history there. By Gakpo and Aguchi. Very positive piece of defending.
Good play there as well, Frankie de Jong. Headed clear, but immediately onto it. And the orange ball forward once more.
Gakpo. Now Van Dijk. And to turn this strong area of possession into an orange onslaught. It's not quite that.
Oke, blunder. Overcook
Looking across it, it's got a corner.
Well, just got their wires crossed a little bit there. Japan in the middle of the park. Canada just here. Done the hard bit. Now he's looking for someone to take it. Guys Amaya actually pulling his way, and just for a split second, they looked the yard of space, but Dunia Marlon in the end a good block. And Netherlands settled for a corner.
Reinders looks at the Dutcher lined up on the edge. It's an outswinger. Flico 2 against 1 if he plays it short. By Reinders.
No. Wow, bro, hampir.
Forced to save. And then it's over the top. Yes, Messi was in the right place, so they rather went straight at him, I think. It's actually marvellous out there.
Dunia Marlon, yeah, closely guarded as well there. Does really well to get that header away. And Suzuki thankful. It's a blue shirt that just is there to make sure they deal with that. But the Netherlands have got a lot of big lads. They really have. And if that delivery is right, that could work for them. It's a good attempt, that, Dunia Marlon.
Van Dijk. But they are being pinned back for long periods now. Still 10 minutes to go to half time.
Yep, handball Nakamura there.
It's quite a high up position, that, but you'll be pleased to be in the ground. Will we see the football of Memphis in Dallas?
Have a chance for this free kick for Johnny Reinders. Just give them something to attack. Give them a chance to go after this.
When you're on top, you have to score. That's one of the old football cliches, and they're certainly on top. The Netherlands.
Gol.
And they should score. Maybe it's a bit of a
Set
stretch,
tadi.
the pressure.
Eh,
Not playing
kelakuan
forward,
pemain
it's been
Liverpool
staying.
ini.
2 Gakpo goals in the last game, and none against Algeria at home. Finishing is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, good ball in actually. It was a fast delivery.
Menahun gitu padahal dia.
Attacked at the back post. I think he should do better there, Cody Gakpo. Yes, he's stretching for it, Martin, but I think his reaction says it all there. I think just got way too much on that. A scruffy of contact maybe, and it might have been on goal.
If he's done that deliberately to take a little bit of the steam out of the Dutch, tragically you'd admire him, wouldn't you? But he was doing up the lazy referee didn't hurry him up, so maybe that will come into fashion now. Some of those wigs certainly in fashion for the World Cup.
Yep, since the drinks break, the Netherlands, I think, have been superior. They've looked, played more in.
Just that pressure, that's Jalen Hawkins of the Baltimore Ravens. The NFL players do really like the all sports, of course, in the USA. This game, our football, their soccer, fighting for its place in a World Cup like this can only help. Strange enough, the president of the country gave the football authorities of this country some reasonable advice a couple of months ago. Get some promotion and relegation into your league. Don't think that's going to happen. Here's Van Hecker. Now, De Jong. Back. With a fade on that side. Not within the reach of Sensio Somerville. Freeze trying to make an angle for him, but Somerville changed his mind after he sealed attempted cross. That was a misplaced pass. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, done all the hard work there. Some of it done it really well as well. His Nakamura was tied to him, but he just managed to find the yard and just put it in there. But just got caught in 2 lines in the last moment.
There are two sides to the game: what you do with the ball and what you do without the ball. And really being tested on the latter over the last 15 minutes or so. Almost since the resumption after the hydration break. Maybe there was something in the drinks that the Dutch took that it looked livelier since.
Certainly have. I think in the middle of Japan's midfield, I think Kamada and Sano we're doing a little bit more. They need a little bit more control of the game. I think in general, you see the orange shirts in possession. We've seen those little rays now and again from Japan, but I think more into the Japanese coach would like to see his team exert a little bit more control in this game. I mentioned about being too passive. At times they have been, I think, here a little too much. I respect the fact game one, they don't want to get beat, but you also can't just sit off and allow teams to find a rhythm.
Here's De Jong. Now Dumfries, Denzel, named after the famous Denzel Washington. Van Hecker. Again. Possession for the Netherlands. Defending top priority. The Samurai Blue. Van Hecker. 5 minutes to go to half time, plus, of course, that is. Capo trying to come up with a penetrating partnership. His left line can under them, wheeled and turned and passed. 2 occasions, good positions. Van Heck. One thing about football, Andy, is you know only too well, you don't have to win the game in the first half an hour. Or not to. Japan looking to find a way to get a lead here.
Well, there's that little turnover of possession. All of a sudden, they're very quickly up the field.
Nakamura. And back into play, but clearly went out. Territorially. In control. Nothing to show for it. Canada. Can't say here, Andy, the players are slowing it down because they're feeling the heat.
No.
It's the way what they want to play the game.
Yeah, it is. It happens to have a spell of possession, Japan, in the Dutch half of the field.
It's going forward. It's the back. And Doan. And Canada. Absolutely right, Andy. They want a few touches on the ball. They're watching it being played around them, but not behind them. By the opposition for lengthy periods. It's weak to flood, but that's what Japan can do when they break out. Got in behind.
Yeah, great pull from Watanabe, centre half. Crosses this one. Nakamura on that right foot, got to hit the target. Must try and hit that target. It's only a decent first touch, and ball just sits up, and it's really inviting there to be hit. But lovely run from a central defender into that wide right position.
He's the goal scorer, you know. He plays for Reims or Reims, as they say in France, in the second division of French football. Scored 14 goals in that league, including 4 on the final day of the season. 4 in a game. Canada again. So plenty of touches. That's another one here. Free. It's a nice, pleasant, warmish atmosphere. Little soporific for the very young, but not for the football fans. Especially at this moment. On the scourge of Dutch defenders in the Eredivisie, away down.
Just pulls away from Virgil van Dijk, dips towards the ball and then spins and just gets that couple of yards he needs. And you're right, Martin, with the goals that he scored this season, you'd expect him to hit that one hard and low across the Bruggen, maybe.
The run, the sort of thing that's brought him into a lot of good scoring positions, and he's delivered in the league.
Yeah,
It's just a bigger. You think it's the same chance, but the actual mental pressure on a player to get a goal with a team in front in the World Cup, as opposed to week in, week out in the day job, if you like. 25 in the league, he was miles ahead of anybody else.
just think there, keep it down, get over it. Just try and hit it as hard as you can from a wide angle. Keep it down on the floor.
300 minutes, and that's the hydration break, isn't it? Nothing else. What Japan can point to, and there's one attempt on their goal from open play, which was very early on, was it? Daniel Marlon rolled his man.
Yes, it was.
The Marlon header was from the corner. So,
Look, there haven't been a lot of goal scoring chances and attempts. I think we always thought this one was going to be ultra competitive, and it certainly is.
you're not getting task challenge. And looking that. So can the Netherlands put these extra moments right at the end of the first half to really good use to get their first goal of the World Cup 2026? Marlon. Right, this year on the great here again. Here's Somerville. Wide to Gakpo by Van Dijk. Gakpo with his trademark move infield onto his right foot. Gideon and Paul Van Hecker. Japan working really hard, knowing the clock as well. They conceded a corner.
Yeah, right on half time virtually, so they've got to make sure they deal with this, Japan. We saw that Daniel Marlon header that Suzuki saved really well. I don't want a repeat of that, so vitally important for Japan that they get tight and they deny anybody any space to go and attack the ball.
It was a ball delivered by Reinders, who's going to deliver this one as well. added time before half-time in Dallas. Again, the Flats in orange on the edge of the area, making their moves. Have to leave the defenders. They got to it. And it was an easier contribution from Zion Suzuki that time. But again, a little bit more on that, and they're going 1-0.
Yeah.
Well, Japan going 1-0 down. But they're going 0-0. And again, territorially, the domination has been from the Dutch, Marlon in particular, with the early shot, and a later header with the best out of Zion Suzuki. Japan, as you'd expect, have defended nobly, 0-0 at half time. Time to the fix.
Betul anjir ya.
To Messi, shoot! So watching. Bye-bye. Return, he looks for Messi, Messi, still Messi, shoots! So watching? So watching? Play football.
Mas. Ya. Main lagi ya, Mas. Hah? Kedeng ya enggak daily ya. 16 menit nih. Oh. Lah, mana nih?
Momen kemudian yang penuh kehangatan. Itulah Piala Dunia.
Tam daily dulu bos. Then less than 0.
Long playing career because he did all the right things. But Louis Van Nistelrooy gave us a half-time interview today about the coaching staff and new appointment relatively. In the Yonkers there, Ron Koeman's vintage really as a player. Also his brother. Second half, nothing outstanding really in the first half. A couple of good stops by Simon Suzuki, probably wouldn't be the centerpiece of a highlights package. You do feel it's bubbling under because of the way that the Netherlands players have dominated the ball, but needs to find a way to capture attacking. Of course, it's a good way to get in if they can. Coming in the far post. Retreat by Rindy. That's some of it again. That's his pace. Sprinting away from the defenders there. There can be nothing about it. Just that ball across the box. And they're going to drag him back. Yeah, passing when he checked the first time, he might have shot. Right, but Hecker. Tamara tried to steal it away. Some of those dancing feet. Is Marlon. So, the replacement for Taro Endo, showing that he's got plenty of ambition in his play from sitting deep in midfield. He's had to do that, and he hasn't, because it's just come on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been particularly expressive with the ball in the middle of the park. I don't think Japan so far. The first thought every time is getting into this shape they're in now. Or they get back and they let the Netherlands have reasonable possession, they allow them to creep forward and then try and pinch it. It's risky.
Just needed, maybe if Ruud van Nistelrooy was out there as a player, he'd have been flashing into connect with that cross.
clever play again, though. Ryan Gravenberch this time making that really nice run. And it's not the worst crossing rule. He's got to hit it hard. He's got to put tons of pace on it, otherwise he doesn't beat the defenders at the near post. But it just was too big for anybody.
The way that and to get the Dutch up the field, he's done quite well in that respect. It's hand clap from Moriyasu, the coach. Mike Cooper had their international playing career, 35 caps for Japan in the 90s. There's a bit of space there. Had that been just plugged a little bit better. Somerville heading on. Marlon trying to make a nuisance of himself. And back by Dumfries. It's an odd thing to say, and maybe I'm wrong, Andy, but the scrappier the game comes, it suits Japan, but they're not a scrappy team.
No, they're a very accomplished team, they are, but
stopping the Dutch.
yes, exactly. It knocks the Dutch team out their stride a bit, then that helps.
Wrong for the radar. There is a threat, and the Dutch know it better than any other country. Only played from Frankie de Jong. Here's Gravenberch. Gakpo. It's gone down the line this time. Maybe that was a message you got at half time. We've got a free kick from it.
Dolan there, trying to stand him up. Does really well. Only Gakpo just to
Logic sudah lah.
behind him. And then a bit of obstruction, and now a free kick chance for Reinders again.
Still in the first 5 minutes of the second half. The Army Reinders. And plenty of this on the training ground. It's flying in low was obviously the intention, but too low.
Gol! Gol anjing, gol. Hirgi pandai.
Virgil van Dijk puts his trademark on the opening game for the Netherlands in the 2026 World Cup.
Offset nya tadi. Tadi
We've talked
sangat
about
dah harap ting saya dah.
his scoring capabilities, and he's shown it to the world again.
But he's such a threat. If the delivery is good, if the delivery's got some pace on it, he's always liable to cause problems. That one from Reinders was
Pandai
good, but when
offset
it goes
gak?
out on the other side to Denzel Dumfries. But this one coming in with
Oh
pace on
no,
it,
Sep,
Virgil van
is
Dijk
Sep,
is good. There's no offside there at all. And
is
it's
Sep
such an
bro,
accurate
is
effort.
Sep.
Look, he's totally unmarked. It's just whether he gives anybody a little nudge because he's got
No,
so
is Sep
much
bro,
movement.
is Sep.
The header has got tons of accuracy
Yeah, emang.
behind it.
It's looking like a goal for wondering whether the puck will go in.
Yeah, exactly. Great ball in and just beautifully controlled and guided into that far corner. But they just
Virgil pandai.
Maybe now we'll see a more aggressive Japan, a team that wants to get on the front foot a bit more, because I think they spent too long in the game just sitting back and believing that they can shut the door permanently on the Netherlands. Well, I'm afraid that plan has gone out the window. They've got to come up with something else.
And Dijk, 6 minutes into the second half, his 13th goal for the Netherlands. He's only one behind Ronald Koeman now, as the top scoring defender of their country. This is how number 13 happened. Unlucky for Japan.
Yeah, you can still well onside, just times it perfectly. But again, it's a great ball and it's all right players when they get in wide areas, Martin. You don't have to pick people. They don't always have to look for somebody, but get it into an area where people can make something of it. And that's exactly what they did there. Beautifully controlled it.
He planted it, didn't he? Absolutely planted it. Even using the natural fade as the ball goes that way, pushing it in off the post.
Saya langsung ke pergilah. Paling dulu nyakain konon tapi emang kayak hulu sih.
Were complaining. There's a little bit of a push as the ball came in.
Jelek iya
I didn't think
berarti
it looked
dia.
like it was enough, did it? No, not really. Well, it doesn't take a lot sometimes to put you off.
Nyo nyerang wae itu tadi gila dari mana?
I don't think they're ever going to get that one.
Nyerang nanti jelas no percuma.
Virgil van Dijk will be done.
Ngesut.
That's the
Nyian chance tuh. Nyian.
way.
Tadi sama lagi ini. Tiba-tiba bakat dua nggak salut.
As the defender did, and just it's only a small margin, isn't it? A little touch, and it wouldn't have been a goal there, even just skimming his hair. But the goal it is. Simon Suzuki is beaten by the Dutch captain. There's Camara. I seem to remember in their wins over Germany and Spain in the last World Cup, they came from behind in both of them. So they're in that position again.
They need the ball first, Japan. They can't get it. They can't get it for long enough either at the moment to make anything worthwhile, anything really significant. That's got to change.
That was a lovely shot of him looking at the line of the header. Really, the precision of it, they emphasise the precision of it.
Kayaknya kan di login kan bisa jadi wih.
The Dutch lead, and there's
Bisa.
no disputing the value when they have. The territorial supremacy doesn't always produce the what seems like a result of justice, but it certainly deserves to be in the lead here. Dallas has seen its first goal.
Dallas.
This tournament. Here's the man of the moment again. Well, that's the stat that matters. It's to add to Virgil van Dijk. He played every minute of every Premier League game for Liverpool. The oldest player, the age of 34, to do that. Not just for Liverpool in the Premier League. Here's some of it, just behind Marlon.
Fabulous ball in behind Japan again there. And some of it was electric as he gets onto that. It's a great little clip ball in behind him. And just can't get in front of the near post to maybe get something on target, but great running power once more. There it is. This is the referee's shot of it. He's got a lot of room there, Martin, didn't he? He had so much room.
He did, and it wasn't a consequence of a big shot. We'll show what the referee
Selalu empat deh dia.
It was a good.
Nggak minum ya. Cedera kan bro.
He's played. Actually, Van Dijk's into double figures for the season. And 11. Kubo needs to impose himself on the game. He's got the talent to do that. Nakamura. Radar, where they're aiming for. They need a rallying cry. Japan. Kubo.
Shoot bisa. Telat. Oh man. Offset tuh. Benang heula. Bener. Iya benang heula. Edan, cok.
1-1. It does. Well, I think they're going to come up with something different now. That's better. That's a lot more like what Japan, all these fans indeed expected to see this afternoon. Great run. Really good run from Kubo. He shows a bit of composure. You just feel when Nakamura there doesn't have the room for the shot. He certainly does. That's a mind there. It's very close. It's his touch, actually. He's very close to being offside, but I think Van der Ven plays it on. At the back post. Have a look here.
Satu telat naik anjir dong. Padahal bisa offset.
Certainly hits Van Hector, I think, Martin, as it flies past the brook, and he's got no chance with it. Great strike. And Nakamura take the chance.
Belanda, ngapain sih?
Yeah, this has been looked at. It looked as though Van Hector's got there first, didn't it?
Did.
Otherwise, it would be an offside call potentially, and also it would have been Maida's goal if it wasn't offside.
Yes. Good point.
On the big screens, it's Nakamura's face that's smiling, and down on the pitch as well. Well, again, was building up in the first half, should we
Nah,
say?
ini baru pertandingan, bos.
They exploded into life.
Yeah. It certainly has.
Along throw. Kubo didn't keep it. I mentioned he's got a good goal scoring record in the French second division. He spurned a chance to hit one with his right foot in the first half.
He did.
Once reached again, and the goalkeeper, Bart Verbruggen, the Bartman.
Let's go.
Zion Suzuki comes out and makes a real strong catch. But it's got to go again. Do you like goalkeepers when you were playing anything and the goalkeeper trying to take charge?
Well, yeah, if they can come and grab it, Martin, of course. What you don't want them to do is spill it. And encouraged, I think, more nowadays to just try and get some height on it with a punch.
He doesn't come this time. It's not quite thrown as long. Japan wants to get into that counter-attack
Eleh,
mood.
kayak bola luhur ini.
Knight's still in the opposing penalty area. He will stay there. There's a corner.
Yeah, and they're a problem for Japan, these corners and wide free kicks. Again, I mentioned if you look at Van Dijk and Van Hecke, you look at Gravenberg, all of these guys done frees, they're big lads.
And Dr. Marlon up there in the first half.
Yes, exactly right, Martin. So they've got some good numbers there.
Now change the approach in terms of the setup. Near post and deal with it.
Keep. Umpan harap. Nice. Oh. Kuning.
Chase back. Look for that.
Yeah, he was always going to get a yellow card for that one.
Lo
There's a
si
chance there.
So good for the team, mate.
Yeah. Don't blame him for doing that. I think many would have done the same.
Cái gì đi anh terkena. Records mana records? Mau pakai nomor 8 cuma.
Takes.
Trong gì dưới của đừng bác sĩ em hay sao vậy? Cái giang cùng đó.
Canada.
Nice.
Squeeze it across. And what's it against him? Galata's in there.
Much better, I think, though, from Japan. Actually, just that couple of minutes before they equalised, It just started to pick it up a bit better. That's the strike from Nakamura.
Yeah, it is. If he gets there first.
Sebenarnya benar nih.
It wouldn't have got
Well,
Might not,
It was in the way, wasn't it?
might not have seen it yet until it's flashed past him, but now we've got a proper game now.
Happy to say there's a good half an hour left. Netherlands won, Japan won. Very much reverting to type. 8 of their last 9 World Cup goals have come in the second half, including in those ones over Germany and Spain. Fate.
Pandai.
He gets into those positions, he doesn't shoot as often as you might think, but some of those having a crack.
Oh man, gol lagi Edan. Siapa si Iyu? Yang aing nggak tahu bawahnya. Saya mana nyampe tuh? Si Dampis aing mana?
His first goal.
Pemain mana ya ini?
He let fly from a tightish angle,
Gak
really.
kenal aduh. Kita orang từ KT hoặc là
And that Denzel Dumfries run on the overlap allows Somerville to which opens everything up. And then it's just about hitting it hard enough.
yang jauh anjir aja.
That's a great finish. A really good strike that. The way he hits that. Yeah. They've got enough pace on it. Starts outside the post and brings it back in. Great goal. Great
Mereka harus dibawa dari itu sih. Yang di mana saya tanya? Mereka harus lah. Sama ngarep naon geus kolot siapa anjing.
Only ever played for the Netherlands in this month of June 2026.
Ini nggak ada Mitoma juga udah bisa ini bro Jepang gimana kalau ada.
I was about to tell you, and the world, the Dutch hadn't lost a World Cup game after scoring first since 1978 to Scotland. Well, Archie Gemmell's famous goal. Yeah. Japan have got a lot to do to make that relevant. 2-1. It's exploded into life in the second half.
He's probably been, I think, their most positive forward player. Some of them. Yes, whenever he's got them, even in the first half, taking Nakamura on, trying to get some crosses in the box. That was great for him. From him, really good.
No, wow. Gapo. Bisa-bisanya teka baca si Gapo. Why? Kayaknya dia orang bukan opera tuh bro. Walaupun offset.
Always a little too keen there.
Kalau bisa offset.
In behind. Until the ball over nicely.
Jelas aja.
Just offside there.
Well, we've got the advanced semi-automated offside system here, haven't we?
Itu ya, bisa-bisanya kasih dulu si Gapo. Apa back Inggris mah bisa apa?
And Dunia Ito is on.
Masih tahu nggak serunya?
3 goals in just over 15
Tadi
minutes here.
baru pemain Liverpool deh.
Japan were level for some 6 minutes in that period.
Saya mana? Penyerang Jepang bisa?
Moving to second equalizer with Jepang.
Saya penyerang Liverpool.
Wow.
Orang Jepang sah. Lu muka Monaco deh ya. Ayo cek aing kan si Minamino mana? Oh. Bisa kan kita. Aja mana cek? Mana sih? Sudah ada si Mitoma tadi itu dari Yante bene. Nyo si Minamino mah. Sejak ho ingin.
It's a nice strike.
Well, I don't know why we're having the
Hidrasi dia. Ya Mariga tuh udah main nak deh.
3 goals.
Yeah, some good goals at that. I think the second half.
Bro, baru berapa menit udah 2 gol bro, udah jadi babak kedua.
Japan responded really quickly.
Tiru aja.
Indonesia someone to produce another really good goal.
I would really like to ask Ryan Gravenberg, who's only scored 1 for his country, why he gets into those positions and doesn't shoot. Well, it didn't matter, did it? But Somerville showed the value of the shot.
He did. But you know, I think that's really, one, it's very unselfish from him, but two, it's smart football because he knows that there are better finishers and executors of chances than him. And his job is to just try and get that ball in that position.
Si Weghorst kan?
Somerville helped with that Dumfries run around the outside of him that just gave him a bit of space, Martin. You're right. He's shown really good close control out of the tight situation.
I know it's not
Summer's
the
fire
now with the coaches who love passing for midfield players to get to those areas and shoot all the time. When you were playing, you know, a lot of players did that. You had your moments certainly did.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the business as a midfield player. Certainly many years ago, you get in shooting territory, you get a chance to hit it, and you did so.
Sliding to the ban nanti dia.
Nowadays, and again, there's a reason sometimes to keep going wide and keep the pressure on. And there's a lot of shots that sail over the bar, they relieve all the pressure. But that was a really tidy finish from some of them. Really nice work.
The changes are being readied by Ronald Koeman. The top miners is a good Koeman man, really. He's played a lot under Ronald. Including
Memphis.
since his move to Juventus.
Masih main game di Memphis, bro. Harus di Brazil nih orang. Nggak ada pemainnya kah ini? Memphis masih main nomor 10 lagi, dude.
Actually, important player that Ronald Koeman made a trip to Brazil.
DAPAT.
What the level was, he said, to see what sort of level he'd be doing well, despite some injuries. I'm very impressed with the level. It's not the worst place to go on the scouts commission.
That's an interesting call, Martin, taking some of it off.
Yeah.
After just knocking one in like that. That's a very interesting call. Tijani Reinder's never really got involved too much. They're taking some of it off when he's flying. That's a big call.
Well, the Timber who's on, of course, is not Durian, who had to come out of the squad with his twin brother, Quinton. Plays from Marseille, more of a midfield player. They had a few twins, that made it De Boer twins. They have. The family Kirchhoff's going way back. Identical. These two are identical as well, the Timbers.
Itu di Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas.
But, Helpliners filled in a gap on the right-hand side. And it's a tactical switch rather than putting a line-for-line player on him. It's just going to make sure that there's a Japanese player actually injured on the far side. I think he's going to make sure that they don't get down that left-hand side, and Nakamura is capable of doing it.
I get that, Martin, but just seeing that was that challenge from Dumfries how quickly got out to Kubo there to deny him and pinch the ball. Yeah, just coming back to that Somerville change. I mean, putting cup miners there and having experience and making sure that you've always got good numbers behind the ball. I get that, but the Netherlands scored again.
Kameramen, please lah. Random people, dude. Ya, cik pemain sub nah, bro. Oh, Amerika pisan bener, tipikal Amerika, bro.
By Gravenberg.
Saya gak peduli random people.
I think two boats race as well. It's dropped to the ground over on the far side of
Gapo ya, gapo mah ieu wae Cuma ada pemain mana ya?
Everyone knows what Cody Gakpo is going to
Anjing,
do.
kayak mainnya sorangan wae di tadi.
It's not gives you a
Lebih gandeng ya itu komentator ngomong. Ngomong naon teh.
Everyone knows what gonna couple do. Kali itu sih. Semua orang tahu naon norek dilakukan si Gakpo anjing.
Anjing ini ngoper sih ieu.
going to bed.
What he gonna do?
Must be fans like Japan to the Netherlands.
Tadi si Gakpo mesti dikritik habis-habis gitu terus we kalah kok gitu. Tapi komentator ngomong loh, boy, Gakpo.
Took a fair old bang in the face there, isn't he? At some point, yeah, it was in the first half, I think. Unless he brought it with him.
No way, Kubo, no way. Jangan cedera lah, bro. Mito mah udah gak ada loh, serius.
Ini si Endo udah anjir.
His
Bilang kan. Anjir bisa Jepang. Pemainnya cedera.
Go on.
Di Belanda di
Tarik ngempor plus no.
The bet's giving him 3 or 4 yards there. Maybe didn't need to quite take that touch. What's another one? It's a great one.
Oh gawat.
Triple substitution for Japan.
Sieu emang kurang jauh ya nama Renan. Oh nggak ieu ngebantuan. Ini Kubo diganti. Tomiyasu aya kene, bro. No, depannya udah hilang, bro. Tadi sageding new kapten teh yang kodenya. Ang lambung cikanya pasti eleh lambung deh bubu. Pendek ting bos Asia mah.
Could have just done with setting that one down before he hits that.
Obviously, with a reach of that from
Ada soalan. Enak aja. 15 menit sih. Tambahan atau 10 menit ya, Bang? Tergantung main bisa.
Camera.
deep to the outside. Oh, on down to come up with a second. Feet to the left hand side now. And then she. Seguara. Great danger. Unito.
Shit, tarik itu semua.
It was just shaking up for something spectacular there.
Tamura.
These must have got to take risks now. They have to try and get back in again.
He's scored 6 goals in qualifying. Wise throw. Right timing.
Nah jadi lemparan ke dalam KW aja.
Go back to Simon Suzuki. He's come back well. He had broken hand in the autumn. Himself takes as quickly as possible with an injury like that.
Still up front alongside the way really. Not playing with a number 10. It's kind of an
Nah,
area that
kosong
they're
boy.
usually blessed with some amazing players in that particular area of the Martin, but they didn't start the game with in that sort of Japan.
Between the top 2 goal scorers in qualifying.
Oke, oper bos. Shoot. Kurang ini bro, kurang tenaga. Rio nggak kelihatan dari tadi, hei.
That's what they'll do. They'll try players forward. Not recklessly, they just seem to find an overdrive to the game that they're trying to play minute by minute. And that was one of such moments. Ruben was great from the shot, didn't very much of a sting. Here's Tomiyasu. And Sugawara tried to play in England. Tomiyasu with Arsenal, quite a long spell until injury rather ruined it for him. We'll say he's gone to Ajax on a short-term deal.
That's that comeback. It's actually Sugawara. Apologies, I think it was Tomiyasu. And Sugawara got himself in a nice position there. He's kind of leaning back a little bit. The ball was just a fraction behind him there.
It's another what we have, the whole move. Placing
Nggak cirinya sih
Ryan
Jepang.
Gavin, been excellent.
Main Liverpool tuh lagi.
Ronald's not taking too many risks, and whether he's going to invite.
Oh, aku karek dimain.
I think he's expecting it, Martin. I think he'll
Tut,
expect it.
tut.
Yeah,
They've loaded their forward line a little
Baru
bit.
tut.
Ogawa and Ito alongside him.
Jelek ake di mana ini di AC Milan.
Perhaps trying caution to the wind a bit.
salah.
The match there.
it's a pretty big back line he's got. It's 5 of them really, all of them that play central defence. Arena coming short, bit involved. Wanted to play back for a run that he made in their mind. Yes. Sugawara, nice touch from Unity to
Mending asal wae si Diong nih ya.
the tie.
Dunia dia.
Best friend
Belanda.
in England with Manchester United didn't really work out for him. But he's played around the world and it has worked out for him. He's played a lot of international football. with great success. Ito is good in the air, so it's a very good challenge by Ito. That's a throw out of it.
Yeah. Good backing in there from Ito. His team has thrown Sugawara again. Decided to put this one down quickly.
Right on the answer. Put it away. But I'm dying to score.
Anak-anak ini sih nabrak di tol, ya pak, nggak aja bisa nih.
The time. Taking out with some Marlon up front.
Lu mau main bola atau mau main apa, bro? Isiku lagi deh, Pak. Habis. Gak serius yang masih main lu anjir. Lu seriusan masih dimainin deh, Pak. Nomor 10 lah ya. Aduh.
Used to play for Nijmegen, NEC Nijmegen in Holland.
Tong lambung, bro, udah pasti kalah.
Yes. Tidy work by Anthony de Jong.
Jauh ting de Jong, jauh ting. Ngapain sih yo?
His team go out of possession in terms of his defensive work, but he's always available. He's good reader of the game and situations, no doubt about that. And again, clever to take the foul there. The more they break the game up, the Netherlands.
Gila nih orang diganti, bro. Saking gak ada pemainnya, gak egois.
Played a big part in Sunderland's success. They got themselves into Europe for next season. Having just been promoted to the Premier League. Probably is a presence. Kept it in. It's rather a wasted cross.
Kok jadi main jejelapuan sih, anjir.
Got something on it.
Jepang, woi.
Didn't seem a great deal in it. Ito. Sugawara. Salo. Might just be in trouble yet.
Oh, tengah, datar, woi, lain dia bijan pada anjir katanya datar, tukang malah dijelapung, bro.
A contest that only in truth they really got going in the second half, but boy did it get going. And it isn't finished yet. I once feel that a time where Zion Suzuki will guard himself is a tall man, the goalkeeper.
Pasti bro, lambung badan.
Fellas at the back in orange.
Perbandingan tinggi badannya sangat jauh, bro. Ngeri. Paling Belanda.
Tomiyasu. Ito's done well. What's it for?
Ngapain protes anjir, jelas-jelas. Ngapain protes anjir, jelas-jelas ada.
So before that scored the winner against Scotland in the first game in March. Depth into the set play.
3 minutes to go.
Scored the first equaliser. Is there a second in the game? Sugawara.
Oh,
What's he going to do it first time, Martin? It's a stunning ball. It's a brilliant pass to Ito there, but maybe there wasn't anything available along the 6-yard line and he had to have that touch, but I feel like he's got to play that first time.
PSG
It's a
tambah
brilliant
Sterling
ball.
itu siapa?
Ito with the corner.
Oh, no, gol anjir, dude.
It's Toto. It's Sagawa. It's Bedlam. Here in Dallas.
Belanda
Right
ngapain?
off Japan.
Masa LS gol why?
1-0 down. 2-1 down. And here battling deep into the afternoon to make it 2-2.
Udah cedera sebenarnya. Iyalah pasti.
Well, we expect nothing less of Japan than to keep going. I just wonder whether we're brilliant. He's going to say that. I do. He's got to stop that run.
Bisa-bisanya. Aduh, Van Dijk lagi yang kalah.
And I think he helps that one into the roof of the net. I think he's got to say that. I really do. He may not have seen that deflection. The smiles all around for Moriyasu and everybody on the Japan bench. And of course, the stadium goes crazy.
We talked about his record in qualifying, 6 goals in qualifying. He's got one on the big stage here. And what a vital one. He plays in the
Kita tadi itu udah bung keluar Belanda deh. Kita ngapain sih wasit malah nyuruh? Aja. Oh, kita aja masuk.
Another touch.
Well, there was that deflection, Martin. Wasn't quite sure from the angles we saw exactly.
Wasit udah nggak hindar atau ya bola ngedegetan deh. Malah nyuruh gue anjir. Kira ini bro baru big match.
Six minutes to go. They came back from 2-0 down to beat Brazil, who was a friendly back in October.
Lah.
That's a yellow card for Mickey Vanderman. Absolutely, no complaints. He's been great, Junior Ito. He really has number 14. Been terrific since he's come on.
Pelanggaran tak berarti.
As in Belgium. Tomiyasu.
Ya paling di grup ini 2 nih lolos sih.
Posted for Mickey van der Ven. Whether he was
Kayaknya lagi tahu. Nah ya, bukan.
Yeah, maybe Martin, yeah.
And we didn't see any check or
Iya start buka di dia aja. Biasa sok main.
The goal wouldn't have stood.
Statistik grup ke poin-poin berapa nih? Swedia yang Indonesia. Swedia halus.
2-1 was a defendable lead.
Indonesia.
Nothing else a mistake today. I do.
Swedia dia hampir terlolos.
Because he took off the play.
Tapi kan ya tetep aja bro.
Tergantung si Isa kok gitu.
I tell you what, that makes such a difference to the momentum in the
Si
game.
Gyökeres. Ya si Gyökeres. Si Isa karek balik.
Bisa aja Swedia nuka hiji bos ini anjir. Kan nggak tahu.
Still got 4 minutes to go. And rip-roaring start to
Dia tadi si Depay naon sih kayaknya cuma pelanggaran doang Depay. Kenapa main guys? Mana dia masih dimainin. De Jong De Jong sudah tidak powerful. Si De Leo.
nhớ có mà là chuyện
Going through the reminds
Phải
me
đào
of
lúc
the
si
players
ý được. Van Hoven.
two or three of them have been brought on to protect the advantage.
Tadi em lagi buat Messi
Compromise
si
to
De Leo.
Nathan on free crosses. And someone that's
decent ball in for sure. It was top once again over the top of. That's an equaliser.
it just hit Canada, didn't it? Yeah. See, he didn't know anything about it. So. But in those circumstances, he's quite a difficult sort of person. I'm sure he probably wouldn't go chasing it, but he should get it because they have the last touch.
emang Jepang na halus atau emang Bluetooth Belanda dan Bluetooth
All happened in a flash, but a flash of delight.
3 minutes to go. Buang-buang waktu guys, buang-buang waktu lah.
I'm not sure that was meant. If it was,
We just sent the ball down the tunnel there on the far side.
Buang-buang waktu guys, buang-buang waktu.
by such team of red, by Japan have played them back. Sweden against Tunisia to come later today. That was too harsh, Mr. Townsend.
Yes, certainly has been.
And psychology of this game is extraordinary. Now Japan are just saying we're going to protect 2-2. Would that be a dangerous philosophy? Van Dijk. Great ball. Not trying to get it away.
Yeah, terrific work there between Von Vries and Quinton Timber there.
Sau này tới gua đã tuôn
Just
xào ấy là
second
xóa mà
before
cái
the cross was coming.
Right by
yang Belanda nyerang gitu anjir.
there's Van Hekken.
deep day mình deep
Might
day
get another goal this game. Even though
Jemput.
in seconds. There's still a chance here.
Tengah
Peter.
telat. Udahlah, prit. Dia mau mulai yang tahu tambahan di gos di Inggris anjir. Ngepas langsung prit.
Well, we've seen some
Udah,
of what
ini
the
nggak bisa
Netherlands can
rapi.
offer. Always a team to reckon with in a major tournament. But they've been played back twice. That final little deflection by Daichi Kamada, providing the second equaliser from Agawa's header. It looks as though it'll be Somerville's son's day, Dallas.
Belanda
But his goal, the 2-1 goal,
dah
wasn't enough.